They found the house on a quiet boulevard. It was a dream made of wood and stone. The street was lined with old trees. Their branches reached over the road like a gentle canopy. The house stood at 657 Boulevard in Westfield, New Jersey. It had 6 bedrooms and sprawling porches. It was the kind of home that promised generations of laughter and memories. For Derek and Maria Broaddus, it was everything they had worked for. The place they would raise their 3 young children. They saw a future there, bright and full of promise. The closing date was in June of 2014. Westfield was known for its safety, its good schools, and its close-knit community. It was a place where people felt secure. They left their doors unlocked. They began renovations before moving in. Each swing of the brush, each pull of old carpet, was an act of love. The house had a presence. It had stood there since 1905. It was a character in their story, a silent partner in their future. But some houses hold secrets. As the family worked, a shadow was already falling. It watched from a distance, unseen and unheard. Noting the paint, the contractors, the comings and goings. Something, or someone, was already there, waiting to make itself known. The first letter arrived just 3 days after they closed on the house. It was tucked inside their new, empty mailbox, addressed simply to the new owner. The words were cold, they were sharp, they settled in the pit of his stomach. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s. My father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. A lineage of observers, a family duty passed down. The letter claimed ownership not of the property, but of watching it. The questions were not curious. They were threats veiled in ink. I see you have flooded 657 Boulevard with contractors. You don't want to make 657 Boulevard unhappy. The house was given a will. The writer was its voice, its protector. Then, the children. Young blood. The letter knew their names, their nicknames. In an instant, the dream of safety shattered. The house was no longer a sanctuary. It was a stage, and someone was waiting for the play to begin. Yeah. The first letter was not the last. More arrived in the weeks that followed, each one more specific, more personal, more unsettling. The writer signed as The Watcher. They seemed to know the family's life, things never spoken outside the home. I will know their names, and I will call to them, one letter promised. The words suffocated the rooms. The gaze felt like it passed through walls. Derek sat in darkness, searching for a figure, a car, a slip. He saw nothing, only ordinary movement on a quiet street. The threat was invisible, immense, inescapable. The Broaddus family went to the police. The case was opened. No fingerprints, no DNA traceable, meticulous. Police said, tell no one, especially the neighbors. The watcher could be anyone. They canvassed the boulevard. Strange cars, people lingering, only whispers and rumors. Some were helpful, others wary, no hard evidence. Was it a former resident? A neighbor angered by change? Even a hoax? The fear felt too real. They hired a PI, installed alarms, cameras everywhere. Footage showed passing cars, dog walkers, never the letters. The watcher lived in blind spots. Experts said, likely older, lives nearby, feels ownership of the house, a profile, not a name. The dream had become a nightmare. 657 was no longer a home. Derek stayed up nights. Maria saw a stranger watching her children. In every window. The financial toll. The emotional toll. Their castle had become their prison. 6 months in, never a single night inside. They decided to sell. They disclosed the letters. Buyers walked away. The listing languished. The value fell. They sued the sellers, claiming the Woods family knew. The Woods admitted one strange letter, dismissed as a prank. The story went public. Curiosity seekers clogged the street. Private terror became spectacle. They were fighting an invisible tormentor and the weight of scrutiny. Their lives were no longer their own. And yeah, it all felt unbearable. In court, the Woods family called their letter odd, not threatening. 19 years, no fear. A stark contrast. Was it the new family? The renovations? A darker secret? The Broaddusses argued, even one letter is material. A generational watcher isn't a prank. It's a pattern. Westfield divided. Sympathy, defense, suspicion. They traced ownership back through decades. The letters spoke of the 1920s. Then records went missing. Memories faded. A DNA sliver. Female. A shift in focus. Neighbors tested. One by one, cleared. No match, no name, no address. The identity stayed sealed behind silence. The house stood empty for years. Fresh paint, silent rooms. The dream was dead. They proposed demolition. 2 smaller lots. Rejected. Preserve the street. Another blow. They could not live there. Could not sell it. Could not tear it down. With no options, they rented it. Fully aware of the history. For a while. Quiet. Then another letter. For the tenants and the Broaddusses. Filled with rage. Maybe a car accident. Maybe a fire. Maybe a sickness that never leaves. It spoke of the house rising from the dead. An altar for the young blood. You are despised by the house. And the Watcher won. After that, the letters stopped. The silence was not comforting. It felt like something satisfied. In 2019, 5 years later, the Broaddus family finally sold. At a loss, but free. The buyers knew the story, the letters, the fear. They chose to believe it was over. The identity of the Watcher remains unsolved. A lost bidder? A family obsession? A neighbor with a perfect view? Or a prank that spiraled? It became a modern folktale, dissected everywhere, because it taps a primal terror, being watched, the unknown in the one place you should be safe. A letter can be more powerful than any lock. They moved on. They asked for privacy. They deserve it. The police investigation sleeps, not closed. The letters rest in an evidence locker. 657 still stands. New children may play there. New families may laugh. But the shadow of the Watcher is part of its history now. The terror was not in violence. It was in words, in the slow erosion of peace. No windows broken, no locks forced, just sentences. Proof of eyes in the dark. The fear lived in the details, the small private moments of a life. It makes you look at your own home, your own street, with a flicker of doubt. No confession, no arrest, no explanation. The person could still live on that street, pass the house every day, sit and watch, smiling to themselves. The story is left open, like a door on a dark night. We are left with the silence after the last letter. Who is watching? Before you go, please subscribe to the channel for more.